All right, today you're working on solving quadratic equations using quadratic formula. So pay attention, you're solving quadratic equation using quadratic formula. Fix that part. Solving, you are find x. You're going to find the x values, also known as roots. Well, I'm gonna make curly brackets because they are in curly brackets. Roots, zeros, x-intercept solutions. That's what you find using the quadratic formula. Now, quadratic formula is a special fancy looking formula that is actually provided to you in your quadratic equation section of your reference chart. This is your reference chart, reference material, algebra 1. At the very bottom, it is quadratic formula, which is x equals means I can find the value of the x using this part. Negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So this is the formula, and you do not have to memorize the formula. You just have to use the formula, and for that you just type it carefully on your paper, and then you actually can use it. So far, let's just a quick review. You have done solving quadratic equation using the factoring method, which was you put parentheses equals to 0. That's your factoring method. This is x minus p and x minus q. And taking square roots, which was this method, you would have two values of x. You can have any number over here, so suppose 36. So you had plus minus 6 once you solved it. Completing the square method, we will do later. We are using the quadratic formula today. All right, so what are the solutions of the equation? I have a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. I have the quadratic equation where a is 1, b is positive 5, and c is negative 6. I am going to use the x puzzle. C goes on the top, b goes at the bottom. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6, and b is 5. So my values should be 6 times 1 works, and it should be like that. So 6 and negative 1. A value is 1. So if I divide by 1, I still have the same numbers. So my factors are x plus 6 and x minus 1 equals 0. These are your factors. And my solutions, I have x plus 6 equals 0, and then I have x minus 1 equals 0. I'm gonna solve using one-step equation, and I will have my value. So solution set negative 6 comma positive 1, which are also my x-intercepts. So this question, I was able to actually use the x puzzle and factored it, and I have the x-intercepts or solutions. So why should I use the quadratic formula, which actually looks a little complex? I should not. You should not either. But let's look at this, if I can factor this. A is 3, b is negative 2, and c is negative 7. C is 3 times negative 7 is negative 21, and b is negative 2. So 21, I'm gonna pair it up. Let's see, what do I get? 1 times 21 and 3 times 7. Prime numbers, it's impossible to factor this. I do not have any factors. It has no factors. All right, it does not have any factors. And I'm checking in the calculator, and I actually saw that it does have x values. So it does have some solution set, which is negative 1.23 comma 1.897. So it does have these weird x-intercepts with weird decimals. How did you end up getting those? You are going, in this situation, you use quadratic formula. Because there's no way in the world I was able to do the square root method or completing the square method in order to get those decimals. If I have these crazy decimals as my x-intercepts, it has to be from the quadratic formula. So it's only very certain conditions when you use the quadratic formula. The blank can be used to solve any quadratic equation written in standard form. Quadratic formula goes over here. And this is your quadratic formula. It is provided to you in your reference chart, so no question about that. Have I mentioned that the equation needs to be written in standard form? Yes, because it needs to be equals to 0. So identify A, B, and C. That's what you are going to do first. So you identify A, B, and C. So we are going to continue to make our list. And then we are going to plug in the numbers really, really, really carefully. And then I'm going to show you how you simplify. It is basic math. It's simple. It's just a little longer. All right. I'm not sure why this one is called example. Oh, because example 2 and 1 was on the other side. All right. So this equation, let me see. What can we do? So big numbers. This is not written in the standard form. This is not equals to 0. It should be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So first thing you do is you actually fix it. That 72 needs to go on the other hand side by doing the opposite operation. So which is plus 72 here and plus 72 here. This gets you a 0. And these three are different terms. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to write them in the order. X squared needs to go first, then bx. So plus, oh, this is minus 72x, and then you have a plus 72 here. So, all right, fixed. This is standard. This is standard equation. I have standard equation written in written as equals to 0. A, B, and C. Identify A, B, and C. A is 10. B is negative 72, and C is positive 72. I could probably solve it as X puzzle, but since I'm required to use the quadratic formula, so I'm just going to use that quadratic formula. Now, quadratic formula is x is equals to minus b plus minus under root b squared minus 4 ac over 2a. This is my quadratic formula. And in this quadratic formula, I am going to plug in the letters a, b, and c as the numbers. When you are going to plug it in, make sure you plug it in using the parentheses because you have a bunch of minus here. This minus is from the formula. I'm going to plug in the b value here. I'm going to plug in the b value here and then square it. Minus 4 is part of the formula. A and C going to go in these parentheses. That division sign is all over. So make sure it is all across, and then 2 times, and I'm going to put the A value as well in the parentheses. So B is negative 72. B square is again 72 square. A is 10, and C is 72, and A is 10. All right, I have the equation. Now use your calculator because you have very big numbers, so you are going to use the calculator in order to simplify the part which is under the parentheses. So under the square root, I'm gonna solve this part inside the calculator. So I'm typing 72 square minus 4 times 10 times. Okay, it took me a while. This is B, it's minus 72 here. So I simplified this part in the calculator. I actually got 48. So my next step should be x equals minus is a plus, so it's a plus 72 plus minus, and this part is simplified as 48 in the calculator over 2 times 10 is 20. So I have this. Now this is how I can get the x values. It is an x squared, so x squared means I should have 2 values of x. So I should have 2 numbers, same, different, opposite, doesn't matter, but they should have 2 numbers. How do I get 2 numbers? It's the old concept that we did. I'm gonna write that equation one time with the plus and one time with the minus. So x would be 72 plus 48 over 20, and x would be 72 minus 48 over 20. You can calculate all of that stuff using the calculator as well, because you have the calculator allowed on this question, so why not? So I calculated that part. I actually got value of x equals positive 6, and I'm just gonna switch that plus to a minus, and x value is 1.2, or it could be 6 over 5 as a fraction. So my solution set for this question was, I don't have space, so the solution set was 6, 1.2. This is my x values. So this is not a complex topic at all. You just have to plug it in carefully and you will have the numbers. Okay, on the practice, I actually kind of helping you with plugging in and writing the equation. So it should not be a big problem. You should be able to do number 4 by yourself. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna help you on number 5, and then you can do number 6 on your own. First thing, it is not equals to 0, so this needs to go over here by doing the opposite operation, which is plus 2r plus 2r. I'm gonna try to write small because there's no room for me. So, and this is, and I'm gonna actually write directly as ax squared plus bx plus c to equal 0. This is equals to 0. Ax squared is negative 6r squared. Then bx is plus 2r, and r is same as x in this condition, so it's okay. And then positive 17. I'm gonna just double check my numbers. Negative 6r squared, correct. Positive 2r, correct. All right, this is my standard equation, which is correct. Identify A, B, and C. Since I'm using the quadratic formula, so I do not have to take out the greatest common factor of minus. So I'm just gonna use the value as negative 6. B is 2, and C is 17. All right, I have it. Now I'm gonna just use the formula, quadratic formula, which is x equals negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. It's all across. And I'm gonna plug in the values directly now. B is positive 2, minus is from the formula, plus minus 2 square minus 4ac over 2 times a. And I'm actually gonna write the value here with the plus minus because I don't have room. I'm solving this portion of square root part in the calculator. Actually, I got a decimal value. So if I got a decimal value, then I'm not gonna use the calculator because it could be something written as a radical form. That means in the square root form. So let's see how I can simplify. So this is 2 square minus 4 times, this is 4 times 6, 24, 24 times okay, so I got inside, this is 408 under the root. This is minus 2 plus minus 408 over negative 12. Once you're here, I'm gonna have two values of x, so x is equals to negative 2 plus 408 square root 408 over negative 12, and then one time with x equals negative 2 minus 408 over negative 12. I need more space to show another step. There's another step that goes here. And I need a paper, which I can't find. So once you have written like this, let me show you how you're actually gonna split it. It needs to be split before I can solve, because it's a decimal value and you can't have the answer as a decimal. So let's see what you do. So you have x equals negative 2 and split that negative 12 and put underneath both. And then plus 408 over negative 12. You're gonna write like that. You do the same for the other hand side. You have x equals negative 2 over negative 12 and then minus square root 408 over negative 12. So you're gonna write it like this. $408 needs to be written as simplified form. So whatever the method you prefer needs to be used over there. So I'm gonna get the value of 408. So 408 basically, square root is basically 2 whole and I'm left with 17 times 2, 34 times 3. 108 or 102. So this actually is simplified as 2 whole 102. You just kind of simplify. Negative 2 over negative 12 is positive 1 over 6. Plus minus is a minus. This part is 2 whole 102 over 12. And 2 over 12 is again simplified as 1/6. So you just kind of simplify the numbers and write them down. And your value should be this. 6 again is a common denominator, so you actually can combine if you want to. 1 minus 102, because you're not going to write that 1. So this should go over here. And then on the other hand side, I'm going to do the same thing. This is simplified as positive 1 over 6. This is a plus, and this should be 2 over 12 and then square root 102. So 1 over 6 plus 1 over 6, 102. And you actually can combine the common denominator. It should be 1 plus 102. So this one actually will be written as the radical form or a fraction like this. And then if you check in the calculator, this should be the x-intercept decimal values. But you never write as a decimal value. You're not gonna see the answer like decimal value. So this question, no way will fit over here. So I would ask you to actually attach a piece of paper and write down the steps starting from here till here on that, so you actually can get to the correct one. Try doing this question first. Rearrange your equations and see what you have. Let me help you on this one. This seems a little smaller. This is a squared, this is b, and this is c. It's all reversed. So first fix your equation and write it down. I'm going to use the top. So it should be negative t squared minus 6t and plus 16 equals 0. So I have my equation. A value is -1, b is -6, and c is positive 16. I have a, b, and c. Let's use the quadratic formula. X can be found out by negative b plus minus under root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Let's plug in the numbers. Minus b is -6, so it should be inside the parentheses. A is -1, goes inside parentheses. C is 16, goes inside parentheses, over 2 times A is -1. All right, let's solve and see what do we get under the, well, I do actually have to simplify first. Minus is a plus, so plus 6 plus minus 6 squared is -6 squared is positive 36. And then this part is minus is a plus, and 4 times 16 is 64 over -2. 64 plus 36 is 100. So square root of 100 is basically 10. So this one is actually easier. X is equals to 6 plus minus 10 over -2. And I'm going to use that space to solve it separately one by one. So x is equals to 6 plus 10 over 2, negative 2 one time. And x is equals to 6 minus 10 over negative 2 one time. 6 plus 10 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. You can simplify in calculator, or you can just do the math by yourself. This is negative 4 over negative 2. So that should be positive 2. So this one was simpler because you had the whole number over here, so you didn't have a big mess to work with. So my solution set is negative 8, 2, and I have a whole number. So this question actually could have been done using the X puzzle if I was not to use the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is mainly used if your answers are as crazy as these. All right, you have few questions that you have to do as a practice. Make sure you make your list, put the formula correctly, plug in using parentheses because you have a bunch of negatives. And then you can use calculator to simplify what is inside, and then you can simplify when it is a fraction like that. So go ahead, solve these 3 questions.